Hey everybody, welcome to Campbell Explorers. Thanks for coming today. I have a really exciting video planned today. We're gonna go to Riley's Lock. It's probably one of my favorite locations along the canal. When we get there, we'll look at the bathrooms, look at the parking situation, and then we'll take a look around. When we hit the trail, we have 4.4 miles to go to Sycamore Landing. So it's a really long walk. Not a lot of people walk this trail. Sometimes you're gonna see bird watchers that go maybe a half mile out. Here's some trivia. When I film these, I actually walk there and back. So I'm in for a nice 8.8 mile walk today. Definitely getting my steps in. One of the really neat features about Riley's Lock is that the actual lock itself has been combined with an aqueduct. When the engineers were expanding the canal, they ran into a bit of a problem, the Seneca Creek, and they needed a way to cross it. The solution was to make a lock and an aqueduct combined into a single structure. It's really cool looking. Unfortunately, part of it was destroyed in a flood in 1971. So just like Pennywise Lock, Pennyfield Lock and Violet's Lock, Riley's Lock is named after one of the lock keepers that worked there, in this case, John C. Riley. And he was the last lock keeper to man the lock. It's gonna be a weird day to film. It's kind of nice, but kind of cloudy. It could break either way. Highlight of the walk, let's check out the restrooms. Pretty good, give them a try. This parking lot is probably the best parking you're gonna find at any place early along the towpath. During the pandemic, when this place was super busy, I never saw this parking lot more than half full. These are made out of the red sandstone from the quarry. And you can see the red sandstone right here. Now that right there is actually the aqueduct. That's what makes this lock so unique for the towpath. The lock gates are missing. They would have been right there. Lock gates would have been right here. Those things were huge. So we're about 6 foot up right here. So in 1971, a major flood completely wiped out this part of the aqueduct. You can walk down at Potomac. There's a really nice open space. If you catch it on the right day, this water is super blue, and the way the light shines looks like diamonds are on the surface. It's really cool looking. All right, let's get started. So the ground for this walk is going to be a bit of a coarse gravel, very similar to the Pennyfield walk. So as you walk along a bit, the ground does change to a more fine gravel similar to Violet's Lock. It's mostly flat, but it does have some very slight elevation changes, but they're barely noticeable for the most part. Part of the history of this particular lock is the red sandstone quarry that's located just down this road, and the stone cutting house that was used to cut the sandstone into blocks to be used in construction. Visiting the quarry and the stone cutting mill are not going to be in this video. There are tours that will go back there, and I've seen some on YouTube, and the guides are very, very informed about the history of the area. They can tell you all about it, so check out one of those. After the path that leads to the stone cutting mill and the quarry, the first little detour is just this little path, really down to an extension of the main area. But it can be worth the walk to get another one of these great views of the Potomac. Here's another tree that's been damaged by the emerald ash borer. I talked about this pest in my violets log video. But basically it lays this larva, and the larvae kind of chew their way on the inside of the tree. And then when they're ready, they come out, and that's what leaves these little holes right here. So a little further along, if you look to your right, you're going to see the canal opens up. It's kind of hard to see behind the trees here. But it curves in all the way over there. Now the stone cutting house is kind of on the other side of that tree line. Mile marker 23 is actually really close to the start of the walk. Look down the towpath there, you can still see the bridge. You can see some of the retaining wall of the canal right there. One of the first times I came here during the pandemic, I was playing catch with my kids, and one of them thought that was grass and tried to run on top of it. Almost gave me a heart attack. About 2/3 of a mile on the trail, you can come down here. And this wall is in remarkably good shape considering how old it is. About a year ago, I was walking along the towpath here with my mom, and we hadn't gone very far, maybe 200 or 300 yards, and all of a sudden she starts backpedaling. I haven't seen her move this fast in 30 years. I look down at my feet, and there's a green snake, maybe 10 inches long at the most. That's just a memory I'm always going to have here of this little tiny harmless snake. Making my mom basically sprint in reverse. Anyway, that's the only snake I've ever seen on the towpath. You sometimes see some in the water. Another thing to call out is that we are on a flight path. Dulles Airport is somewhere that direction. So every now and then a plane will fly overhead and kind of break the peacefulness of the walk. I always think this is a neat tree. It looks like it's melting. We've walked a little more than 1.25 miles so far. There's something really neat I want you to check out. Just be very careful as you're walking off the path. You can see from the stream right here, the engineers built a culvert to go underneath the canal. See, the construction goes right down here too. It opens up somewhere down there and empties out into the Potomac. Mile marker 24, making good time. Mile marker 25. If you're looking at only going halfway then heading back, now's a good place to turn around. When I was here a month ago, I'm positive those orange ones were not there, just the black ones. Mushrooms grow fast. I just walked by an elderly couple, and they were doing this walk, all 8.8 miles. They had big grins on their faces. I talked to them for a moment. They're having a great time. So come check it out. Whoops. Mile marker 26. Just past the marker, you come across this neat resting area. Even has a nice little restroom. We gotta check it out. I'm very impressed. So this is a camping area along the towpath. Horse Pen Branch, Swain's Lock, future video, Chisel Branch. I think the next video. Here's something really cool. And what secrets are under here? Probably just the well. So if you want to stop here and rest, that's great. We have about 1 more mile to go, almost exactly. Earlier in the video, I talked about the one time I saw a snake on this trail. Well, look what I found. This one's pretty big. He's got to be 2 feet long. I'm trying to help him get him across the path so the cyclist doesn't come by and squish him. That was pretty cool. Mile marker 27. Sycamore Landing should be right up around this bend right here. Okay, so right up around the bend and then a small walk. That's gonna do it for this walk. Thanks for coming along with me, I appreciate it. In the next video, we're gonna pick up the walk from here and go to Edwards Ferry. If your experience was different than mine, I hope it was even better. Thanks for watching.